So I'm scrolling through Instagram as I do dozens of times a day, like many of us, and I find a photo of one of my former clients, his wife and his two kids. And it's just this little moment of an epic round the world trip that they are on right now. And I am just so moved and inspired by the leaps and bounds this man has gone through. And I'm just recalling a couple of years ago being in a coffee shop, sitting with him, and he was at the time brand new as an entrepreneur, never worked for himself in his life. And I was telling him, listen, man, I would love to support you. I would love to work with you, but I am not a business coach. I'm an ontological coach. We're going to look at all the different ways that you are being and lead you to the next breakthrough. And that can impact your life, your relationships, your business, but I am definitely not a business coach. And he's just like, yeah, let's get started. I just want the business stuff. So he hires me and we work together for a year. And when we first started together, he was at the time living alone. He was separated. He was seeing his kids part-time. His business was just surviving. And it was a completely different scenario than what we saw just a little bit after. We finished our work together, and throughout that time, he explored what it meant to build and reinvent a relationship with himself where he can love himself, where he was able to discover what was truly important in his life, like his well-being, like exploration and travel and family and relationships, so that he reoriented his life and created a path forward that allowed him to have his life be a reflection of what he wanted. And so fast forward 6 to 12 months after we finish our coaching and we're having lunch, and I'm like, so how's business? And he's just reminding me of just like, hey, remember when you were saying like I'm not a business coach? And I was like, yeah, just give me the business support. He's like, well, all the stuff we worked on has impacted my business, and this is the biggest my business has ever been. And I was just like, that's amazing, man, congratulations. And then he drops another surprise. And he says, oh yeah, and by the way, I'm reunited with my wife. And I'm moving back in with my family. And they're back in love. And I can't even tell you how beautiful of a moment that was. Just to hear. And I was just so freaking happy for him. Fast forward another 6 to 12 months later, and we're having lunch. And he's telling me, well, business is actually better than ever, better than the last time we even spoke. And by the way, another surprise to drop, he's going on a 10-month round-the-world trip with his two kids and his wife. And he's on that trip right now. And he says to me, none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for you. And as much as that means to me to hear, and like I am so grateful to play a role in his journey, he did the heavy lifting. He did all the work, and all that work is starting to show even years down the road. And I'm so honored to be able to have that privilege to be a guide for him. And a lot of people ask me, what is this coaching about? Like, what's the coaching experience like? And literally all it is we spend time together, and I just pay attention to what shows up. You speak, and I see insights, I see action items, I see resources that will all take you closer to where you say you want to be. And I think this is a really important thing to have, this outside perspective. There's this one piece of information that I learned about Mount Everest, and I heard that if you want to get to the top of Mount Everest, you have a 70% chance, which is incredible. And if you look at business statistics, you have less than a 10% chance of succeeding. You will fail 9 out of 10 times. And I think the biggest difference with Mount Everest, why the odds are so much greater to get to the top of Everest than it is to succeed in business, is because people who climb Mount Everest have a Sherpa. They have a guide. They have someone outside of themselves to support them. And I think this is something that I find extremely important, no matter what area it is, your life, your business, your relationships, to have somebody to hold you to a high standard, someone who sees you as your highest self, someone who speaks to your highest possibility. So if you're playing around with ideas of what's possible for you and you would love to have a conversation to explore what it's like to have that type of guidance, that type of support, that type of insight, it would be my honor to see how I can support you. I have complimentary conversations that I do every single week and have space available in my calendar. So if you want to set something up like that, I would love to see what we can do together. Send me a private message and we'll be in touch. Take care, guys. Enjoy your day.